Live. And hey, there I am. Wow. Scared even myself here. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing today? Scotty P here, your host of this Carnivores Scott experience. Pardon the light, but I've got my studio arranged so that the evening sun is coming directly at me. And so let's get a few things taken care of here. It is about 5:45 here on August 13th. And I am live doing a update because I haven't been out and about very much here in the past month or so. I haven't been really a strict adherence or adherer to carnivore way. I've been mostly carnivore. I've allowed myself to have some fruit and some desserts and heck, ice cream and tortillas. I haven't gone crazy. I haven't done anything like I have been known to do in the past. And I would say overall that I'm not like, horrible shape. There's a little bit of definition, maybe. Nothing to write home about. I'm not exercising. I'm not weightlifting. I'm not doing just about anything except I'm reading and I am doing a work thing. I went and found a job. I thought I'd make like YouTube a job and do this YouTube influencing thing. Yeah. Not so much working that way for me, and that's okay. There are influencers out there. There's some really good people out there who are doing some great things in the space, but not so much me. I've got so I had the audience over 500. Thank you very much. But I haven't been really like cranking out the videos and attending all the various live broadcasts. I mean, I joined Dr. Barry's forum, and I'm sure I'm missing something now. And I used to be out there in all these different carnivore forums saying, "Hey, how you doing?" And lighting up Dr. Chafee's feed and trying to be, an active participant in the community. But it just kept taking from me, taking. And it took from other things I was doing. And most of the time, I wasn't employed. So when you're in retirement, right, and you have plenty of time, you can go out there and do these things. But once you get a job, well, yeah, it's not very ethical to use your work time to do your playtime or you're developing the YouTube. Look, I think YouTube is awesome. Hi, Pam. I think YouTube is awesome. I think this forum is great, and I really like it. I like interacting with people like Pam. But I also know that if I want to make money, I just get a job. Hello, Christy. How you doing? Great to see your channel growing. I love seeing all your stuff out there. But for me to go make money, I said yes to a job, and that worked out pretty well. And are you back in school yet? Uh, there in California, I didn't know if you started school. No, things here. We started school here a week ago. They're full time this week. They start real early and they get out early here in Alabama. But for me, I tell you honestly, I have just been throwing myself into work, not not really excited about work, but I make a lot more money a lot quicker in a job than I will from YouTube. However, there's been another focus in my life, and pardon me, I know I shouldn't do like this, but I'm going to. Okay. So what am I doing? What else am I doing? Okay. So what else I'm doing is I've been doing a bunch of reading in my scripture, right? And I've been reading this um, a new book by James K. A. Smith. It says, "You are what you love." Again, you are what you love. James K. A. Smith. And I had what you might think an epiphany in reading this book. And I got this book because I wanted to learn more about um, an internal aspect in my life. And this is a very eye-opening book, a bit provocative. But what was interesting is he spends a lot of time saying, you are what you love. So then you have to figure out what is it that you love and how conscious or conscientious of it are you. And he's going through a whole bunch of things that some of it's theological and stuff like that. But he came to a really interesting part. And he started talking about food. That really, registered with me. And he was talking about how our passions and our loves and our needs for certain foods are foisted upon us not by just advertisement, but how we develop habits and how those habits are engineered, right? And he actually brought up the idea of high fructose corn syrup, and I was like, well, now you had me at habits. But when he started talking about high fructose corn syrup, I was like, oh my. And he used the word, he's talking, okay, I'm going to read it just because it makes it easier. Hey, Big Man Alaska, are you at work now? Hey, thank you. Thank you very much, brother. And here's how it went. It says, our tastes, as we say, are acquired. We'd all agree with that, acquired taste. Some people like escargot and some people don't. Some people like liver and some people don't. Our tastes, as we say, are acquired, but our tastes can be trained without our realizing it. For example, the widespread use of high fructose corn syrup in so many processed food products generates a desire for more of it. Yeah, we're all aware of that here. We learn to crave things that aren't good for us because we are immersed in systems and environments that channel us into this sort of eating. Our hungers are being trained and habituated, automated, without our realizing it. The same is true for our deepest existential hungers, our loves. We may not realize the ways we are being covertly trained to hunger and thirst. And he goes on in a more spiritual light here. But I was like, wow, this is exactly what I've been dealing with for years. And not that I wasn't aware of it, but to know that people are writing about it and in a different construct, in our health, right? He goes on, he talks about people who write about these things, and he's talking about the food production and people who've written about food production. He goes on, he says, but a funny thing happened on the way to the grocery store. I discovered a significant gap between my thought and my actions. And a lot of what he's talking about in this book is we tend to want to think our way to solutions. Like, I'm going to think my way out of this jam. And the truth is, there is a gut level, visceral level of learning and habits, like liturgies, that we have to marry up practices with the thinking. You can't get there on thought alone. You can't watch the Food Network and all of a sudden become a gourmet. You're going to actually have to taste, or you're going to have to cook. You're going to have to get in that kitchen, right? So he's saying, hey, there's a gap between what I know and what I think and then what I do, because he said he was reading one of these books about mass produced food and the detriments of this food. And he was reading it because it was his go to book, stick it in a backpack wherever you went. If you had a few minutes, pull out the book and read it, like I'm doing with this book. He said, I pulled out this book written by Wendell Berry. And where was he? In the food court at Costco, eating a foot-long chicken lips hot dog, right? Now, we know as carnivores, a foot-long hot dog without the bun and without the ketchup is going to be much better for you than, let's say, a hamburger and fries. No doubt. Okay, we don't argue that. But it's interesting. He was talking about the habit. He knew what to do, but he was actually still eating the food he was working against. says this is a tangible picture of the gap between what I want and what I think I want. For us, how often are we caught in that? I want to lose this fat and I want to get into better shape and I want to do these good things and I want to be healthier. But what are our activities doing it? And then we'll ask, why am I subverting my goals? Well, because we've developed these habits and we have to undevelop, we have to devolve these habits, right? So it's like this idea between an intellectual conviction and a pre-intellectual desire. So your gut desire versus what your mind knows, knowledge versus habits. And a lot of people in this space, a lot of people in this space, well, that's what we talk about. We talk about what are my habits, what drives my habits versus what are my actions and what are my desires. And parsing those out, even when you know it, it doesn't it doesn't get you to where you want to be knowing it. A lot of people who are in a bad situation, they know what's good. It's developing the habit of doing the good thing, of going and exercising, of not choosing to eat at the ice cream bar, right? Anyway, I just thought it was amazing. And it talks about how arguments could be intellectual catalysts, epiphanies of insight into how my hunger habits have been deformed. Unlearning those habits would require counterformative practices, different rhythms and routines that would retrain my hunger. My hungers would have to be retrained so that I would want to eat differently. See the difference there? I want to eat differently. And then it says the same is true for spiritual hungers, right? Bottom line is you can't know your way to new habits, right? I can talk to you ad nauseum about the proper exercise routines for eccentric and concentric muscle tension exercises to develop strength and conditioning and flexibility. I can tell you the different bones and where the tendons insert and what happens where and what you have to do, but you have to do it, right? And anyway, that's what I've been doing and reading for a lot of different reasons, not just for the carnivore thing. But I wanted to get on here and I wanted to make a pseudo brief thing here just to say and let people know that, yep, I'm alive. I'm still out there watching and lurking and doing, not as aggressively as I need to, but it's about developing those habits. And even when you have the habit, even when you get there, it doesn't mean that the change follows quickly. So I have been at this carnivore thing on and off for a year. I have been dedicated at times and I have been lax at times. And I am better off than where I was. I'm healthier than I was, but I didn't get to where I wanted or thought I wanted to be. See, I had this thought I would be like so many of the people who had so much success here in the carnivore space that I would have lost a bunch of weight. Well, my 62nd birthday came and left, and I'm not a lot different. I'm different enough in some important aspects, but I am not like, how did I like to say, underwear model, you know? Not that I ever was, not that I ever will be, not that I even desire that now. I did want to get a much healthier liver, and next week I have an important test on my liver. As many of you may recall, my liver, I had been diagnosed for the past 3 years as having portal vein hypertension. In other words, where all the fat and all the lymph from your system, from your body, where it dumps into the liver and through the portal vein, they were saying because of blockages and whatever else in there, that portal vein had enlarged and it was dangerous. And then there were downstream consequences over time. Well, I didn't have the consequences, and my portal vein has, I don't want to say shrunk, but it has contracted enough to not be in the danger zone. I'm thinking a Top Gun danger zone. But no, so that's a great win right there. What we now need to be concerned with is some things where they thought there might be some cirrhosis, but other doctors said, well, you don't have any of the other things that would go with it. So maybe there's not an issue with cirrhosis either. That's a big deal. Importantly, some other bad habits I had where I like to have an occasional libation, adult drink here and there, not so much. Free form eating of bad stuff, not so much. I still haven't licked the exercise habit. And now I have a great reason for it because I got a job and I work normal work hours. And when I get done with my job, I don't want to go out and do anything, but I need to rehabituate myself. Yeah, yeah. But I've been on here now for about 16 minutes, and that's greater than 12 and less than 20, and not a lot going on here. I don't have I don't need to make excuses or beg for forgiveness or rant at anybody for anything. I just wanted to say, hey, I'm still out there. I'm still kicking around and still watching things and still lurking here and there. But mainly, I'm pretty covered up between work and studying my Bible. I got a new Bible. I had to update my Bible because my eyeballs. So I had to get the bigger print, and it's really helping. It's not the super giant print. I actually have a Bible with super giant print, but this is more of a extra large. It's one up from the Comfort. And this Bible is so new, there's still pages that have stuck together. But right now I'm reading in Acts. I'm gonna read all of Acts, and I'm doing other things. I'm involved in multiple different Bible studies and study groups. And I am going to be reading this book, and I have another book, and there's plenty of things I'll be doing along with watching what I eat and hopefully giving some time a little bit more exercise. So with that, I appreciate you all being in here. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Big Man Alaska, and all the others who might come in after the fact. I appreciate you coming by. I appreciate you taking a minute just to watch. And it's my understanding I have some family members who check in on occasion, so thank you very much. And I'm sorry that the job has gotten into the way of maybe some visiting and stuff like that. However, I'm sure everybody understands that if you put a list on one side of your heart of desires, the other side of your heart has to correspond and figure out how you're going to balance that out. And that's what I did. I wanted to do that. I didn't want to go on Social Security right away. Social Security will happen, but not right away. But that's another income stream that I'm now eligible for. And who knows, maybe I'll file for that and stop working. But anyhow, I just thought I'd come in and say, hey, thank you so much again for coming by. Thank you. I hope you all take care. You'll be on Lioness in about an hour. All right. Good, good. I'll try to stop by. I got to work on a car. Um, Great. Thank you. I have to work on a car. I have a seat belt that won't. We had to get a new car because if you all remember back in January, we got an accident and that car got totaled. And the car we bought, which we really like, one of the seat belts is sticking. So I need to do some work on that. There's always something to be worked on, something to be done. But G-Man, appreciate you dropping in. Yeah, I really do love this forum. You know me. I love the chitty chat. But my life is being parsed out into more slices. That means some of the slices I had get smaller. It's just the way it works. But I'll go and I'll see if I can check in on that new channel for Lioness. And again, thank you all for dropping by and sharing a little bit of time. And who knows, maybe I can find a way to make this more of a weekly thing and just drop in and say hey. And if one of y'all have some type of particular topic you ever want to have talked about, let me know. All right, y'all take care. Peace, prayers, and blessings to each of you. God bless. Bye bye.